wrestling buddies want to be your buddies.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. Buddy!
You got me mad now.
On a week where every individual wants to make sure that they are the one that survives this Sunday, we welcome you to the Wrestling Compadres Slamcast right here on Fox Sports.
Try it on, man.
Yeah, we are at Fox Compadres on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Fox Compadres. Go to iTunes, write us a nice little 5-star rating and review. Let's get into it. I'm Jonny Loquasto. Find me on Twitter at JQuasto. The lady next to me is a host here at Fox Sports. Find her on Twitter at Carrlyn Bathe, because she's Carrlyn Bathe.
She knows how to host and she knows how to skate. She's your friend and our friend. It's Carrlyn Bathe.
You know what? I thought about this.
What is it, Carlin?
I wonder if people think that as in I know how to skate, that I can skateboard. Yeah. It's ice skating, hockey skating. So
surfing.
So you don't know how to skateboard?
Absolutely not. But I just thought of that, you know.
Misleading.
We all know, not everyone knows, but of course you used to play ice hockey and you're kind of a brawler. You got in a lot of fights.
Yeah. Yes, I did. I punched a goalie once when I was a sophomore in high school.
On a skateboard?
On a skateboard.
Should get you a match against the Goon.
That would be amazing. Carlin doesn't know who the Goon is, but that's okay.
I didn't tell you undercut her like that. She
Carlin,
may know
do you know who the
wrestling.
Goon is?
I got to watch the WWE Network. I'll get there.
Got it. Next to her in his By Felicia mug, drinking out of a styrofoam cup. He's back from Washington, D.C. He's the host of Dish on Movies. He's also going to Wrestle Kingdom because he travels the world. Find him on Twitter at TheWalkingDale because he's Dale Rutledge.
He got that mad funky hair, plus he travels everywhere. He always wears a vest, so you rockin' with the best.
That's right.
The vest is business. He's best for business.
Who it is?
That's Dale Rutledge.
Squamp.
That's how I think it ends. Squamp.
That's my favorite sound effect.
What's up? Good to be here.
Hey.
Gotta go.
How you
You're,
doing?
no, don't. You just
bye,
got
Dale.
here.
Gotta squamp the world.
Yeah.
For everybody listening, it is so nice to just have Dale in studio. Like, man, do we miss him? Holy smokes.
Do we all have to answer that question?
Yep.
No.
Yep. On the spot, Scotty. Say something nice about Dale.
Nice about Dale.
Sparkle crotch.
You squamped it up.
Good enough.
All right, well, the aforementioned Scotty is found on Twitter at Curtain Jerks. He's the host of Curtain Jerks, and he may or may not be involved with youtube.com/onyourmarkshow. He's Scotty Narver.
Curtain jerking padre, he's always there to save the day. Scott Narver.
Squamp.
That's how I hear it. I hear squamp at the end.
There it is.
I'm pretty sure we know that you are involved at this point.
With this show? Yeah, I'm right here on Fox Sports.
No.
no,
You look
no.
like Skeeter Skyflyer.
Oh, if only.
Just
If
like him,
only.
though. I'm
If
serious.
Only. If only.
Yeah, cut the crap, Scotty.
No, that's a disgusting habit.
One day.
Survivor
One
Series,
day.
y'all. Survivor Series is happening. Let's get right into it.
All right.
Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. Couple questions we have here. This is going to be the big one. Monday Night Raw, they had kind of a face-off. Brock Lesnar back down. Bill Goldberg, I know he's turning 50 in a month, but he looks good for 50, though.
I'm 50.
That's what he said, I think.
I think so.
He definitely looks good for 50.
Yeah.
We should
Soon
be
to
so
be.
lucky.
Yeah.
Right?
Scott's like 27. He looks like shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because he's way off in age.
Oh, that was fantastic. So, first off, bell to bell. How long do you think this match is going to last? Let's say bell to bell, over under 15 minutes, Scotty.
Over 15 minutes.
Bell to bell, after the introductions, you're saying over 15.
Yes, that is what I just said.
Okay, then.
You
I have
did
a question about what you
just
said.
say that.
Yes. I agree with myself.
Okay. Got it. Clear as a bell to bell. I would say, I don't know. There could be a lot of rest holds. I don't know. I mean, how much ring rust is Goldberg going to have?
A lot.
We know.
12
I mean,
years.
Brock and Orton didn't go that long, and Orton's a very fairly.
Do 15.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. And Orton's in tip-top shape.
Yeah.
Well, at least until he had that elbow to the head. So
forehead.
yeah,
He
so
knocked off the last few barnacles on his forehead.
that is for sure. So I don't know.
Over under, go for it. Yes or no?
I think
on the middle?
I wanted to say it's 15 on the button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's just under 15. Just barely under
So you
15.
thought about that because last week when I said it would go under 15, you looked at me like I was bananas.
I did.
And
And
you
She was
found
right.
The error of your
Yeah.
ways. I am crazy.
I think it's going to be just under 15. And I think Goldberg's going to show a ton of ring rust. No offense to the man, but he almost fell over giving the jackhammer.
You are just not getting off that.
The only reason why I'm saying just under 15 now is because it's a pay-per-view, and depending on where it falls on the card, they can't give it 10. They're just not going to. They're going to give it some time. They've been building it up. It's the big blockbuster match. Come on.
I'm going to
Mega
go
match.
bold prediction.
Mega match, yeah.
Both of their introductions combined will be longer than the match. I'm kidding. It's not going to happen. But I'm saying under 15 for sure. I think Goldberg's going to have a nice long intro. People are going to like it. I think Lesnar's going to have a nice long intro. People are going to love that. But I think it's going to go definitely under 15 because I don't know what they can do for that long of a match.
Me either.
Punch and kick.
Without hurting themselves. It's going to be big power moves, but not a lot of energetic cardio going
Do we
on.
see a little bit of color in this match, Scotty?
Oh, like color commentary from David
Crayons.
Otunga.
Yes, crayons. David Otunga, his classic, amazing color commentary.
No, yes, someone will bleed, and they will bleed unexpectedly. That's just how Brock matches go, and it's great for it. Like I'm going busted mouth in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg has no hair to hide a crack in his skull from an elbow of Brock Lesnar.
He's got goatee.
That's
He's got
true.
that little
He's
goatee.
got
He
the
cut
goatee.
himself bleeding by shaving his head, so that might
quite
be the
possible.
first color that we see in the match.
Yeah, well, this match, people are calling it the fantasy warfare dream match or whatever. Is this going to main event the show? I say absolutely not. I think it's going to go somewhere in the middle of the card. I just think the 5-on-5 is going to close out the show. I know we might be differing on this. So, Carl, where's it going to end up on the card?
The way that they've been billing it, they've got to close out the show
boy.
with it. They've got to. I mean, am I right? They have to do that.
You're definitely not right.
No, I don't know. It's Survivor Series, so I would really like the final match to be a Survivor Series match.
Of course, we'd like that.
But you're right in the fact that, I mean, they've sold this pay-per-view and the game that came out right before it based off of these two guys. So I don't know. I think it could finish out the show.
It's a big risk.
How is it a big risk? This has been a huge reward. Everything's happened. This game, everything about it, putting Goldberg on the network. There is no risks to this. It's Brock. Brock delivers in main event matches. Bar none. Like, does it every time.
Yeah, but it takes two to tango.
Yeah, and Goldberg has been compelling.
I think he's
and
been great.
super exciting, and all he has to do is spear and jackhammer and be mean in between. He killed some security guards, so I think he's got the capabilities of it.
I know you want to see the 5-on-5 go on last, but what if Brock and Goldberg went on right before that? Don't you think they would steal all the thunder of that match and it might not be as special?
That man comes from WCW Thunder. He knows all about Thunder.
He does know a lot about Thunder. I don't think it would steal the thunder of the 5-on-5 because the 5-on-5 could end up having a lot of repercussions for down the road with Raw and SmackDown as far as supremacy and brand dominance.
I think it would exhaust the fans too much if they put it on second to last or third to last and then gave you those matches that you talk about seeing at the end of the show. Then they might not be excited for those turns and twists of fate and things of that nature.
To Johnny's point, though, I think it depends also what story is coming out of this. So the thing you want at the end of the show is like, oh my gosh, that just happened. Does Brock Goldberg have anywhere to go? I think if we have something like we mentioned before, like the Undertaker showing up in that match and maybe saying like, oh, okay, it looks like he's going to go after Brock and he turns and choke slams Goldberg or something. I mean, if you have a story that you can leave the show like, oh my OMG, yes, you should definitely end on that. But if not, if the bigger moment is the 5-on-5, I don't know.
You know, it might not even be Undertaker. There's been some weird rumors about Shane McMahon versus Brock Lesnar. You know,
They were setting that up, huh?
What
Teasing.
if that was his moment where they end the show with Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar and Shane McMahon is the big moment, the big reward that comes in and
Like,
kind of sets up something for the road to WrestleMania.
Jealous that they're getting all the attention with this kind of thing. And
Yes,
then
something
does
happens.
something.
That's, I mean, if they end the show and that happens, that's still a big payoff.
Or is it Shane that's dictating to Taker to interrupt the match also? It could be, I don't know, maybe Shane sitting on the outside and Taker appears in the ring.
Or
I
this
don't know.
is something that no one's really talking about, and I don't think this is going to happen. So we already know that.
So,
The Goon! The Goon returns!
The soon. But it's possible, Goldberg is 1-0 on Brock Lesnar. Let's say Lesnar wins this one. Is this setting up for a possible rubber match at WrestleMania 33, or is that way too many times we see Goldberg and Lesnar?
Oh, sorry.
Three's not too much for anything.
I don't think so, and it really depends on how this match goes. We don't know what the contract situation is for Goldberg. I bet it's pretty loosey-goosey.
I would imagine it's a hell of a appearance fee.
Yeah, but if he comes in here and has a good time, like if this match goes good for him in his own head,
and
maybe
doesn't
even,
hurt himself.
and doesn't hurt himself, which with Lesnar.
I don't know.
But if it's on him, then maybe that is the way it goes.
I will give this for Goldberg. You can tell he really is taking this return seriously.
Absolutely.
You can tell he has been working on his mic skills. You can tell his intensity is there, and you could tell he's really excited for this match, and he wants to not only make his son and his family proud, but he wants to make the universe proud. Very proud. He knows how snarky fans have become, and to his credit, but that Buffalo crowd in Raw, they were really behind him. Now Toronto might be a different story, being in Canada and stuff. But what do you think, Scotty?
No, I think that the Toronto that was an implication of what will happen at the show. Heyman and Brock with Goldberg there, that's the formula that they needed to get the right reaction. People are excited to see Goldberg, and he is making the most out of every moment. He is making crazy faces. He's cutting people off on the mic. He is doing everything that he knows how to do because he's a pro. He's not in the era of being scripted at all.
Yeah.
He missed out on all that, and he is not participating. And I think he is really going to deliver. I think I have high expectations for this match, and I think it's going to be an instant classic.
Wouldn't it be nice if he came in? Think of The Rock in circa WrestleMania 27. He just came back to host, and then the bug really bit him hard, and he came back, and he came back, and he came back. So this could be that moment for Goldberg where he gets in there, is falling in love again, and we just see him sign up for things like a rubber band match or something to that extent.
And I think there is something to be said. Like, Undertaker's coming back, for SmackDown 900, and Goldberg's around. They haven't done anything together.
Yeah.
So, I see that for the Rumble is what I see that as being.
So easiest question, will we see a jackhammer and a spear?
Yes.
Yes.
Both.
See.
Okay, exactly.
Even if he kicks out of it, who knows?
Yeah.
Oh.
They'll happen.
There's going to be a lot of kickouts.
I think Heyman's going to get him too.
Yeah, and we did kind of give him a hard time about the poor performance he had with Rusev in the ring. But I mean, if you want to pick at things too, Brock slipped getting up on the ring this past Monday. I mean, and he just does a jump. So it's like things happen. Hopefully, it's not shades of things to come, but it's not like Brock has got any rust on him.
I tripped over Johnny's cord and almost died in the podcast studio.
Baron Corbin slipped, and he's out of Survivor Series. They got to put up those wet signs everywhere.
He's still rusty, though. Still rusty.
We are clearly divided on how long the match is going to go and where it ends up on the card, and that's why we watch the Survivor Series this Sunday. Well, of course, we can't talk about Survivor Series without talking about... that's right.
Clock towers.
Dong.
The old clock towers. The Undertaker
That
came
dong
back.
is back.
It is. That dong.
It's a big dong.
It's a big
Huge
dong.
dong. So, SmackDown Live's 1900th episode, The Undertaker came back at the very end and gave what many would consider a nice little pep talk to the squad and said, "I'm not defined by WrestleMania. This is where The Undertaker was born, and that was at Survivor Series." And then he said, "If y'all don't win, I'm basically going to kick your ass," I think is what he said. Right?
Pretty much. You're in deep trouble.
Yeah.
If Team Raw wins, then you're all dead.
So is he setting up a match with... Okay,
I don't know.
Let's say SmackDown loses. Is this him setting up a match with one of these 5 guys?
6. Ellsworth was in there.
Good point.
One of these 5 competitors in this match?
Beats the hell out of me. I thought, for a moment, he was going to replace Shane on Team SmackDown.
Who knows? It's loosey-goosey crazy. Here's my wild prediction. I'm going to say SmackDown loses, and he is going to challenge AJ Styles to a match.
Whoa.
I mean, if there's
bold.
anyone that can carry Undertaker who's, not physically as well as he used to be, it's
How dare
certainly
you.
AJ Styles. I'm just saying.
And he's the captain, right? Or is Shane the captain? Shane's the captain.
It's AJ saying captain.
Yeah,
they
AJ's
said-
saying captain, yeah.
Okay, then that makes sense. Okay, I win.
What?
AJ's saying a lot these days.
He sure is, and I like it.
I feel like he was saying, I'm back to wrestle, not just at WrestleMania. I'm here for some TV shows.
Royal Rumble.
Also the Royal Rumble.
gonna be sweet.
What's the one
before Roadblock? Is it a Raw show? I could still show
I'm
up.
here for Tlook.
Exactly. And I feel like if
took me a second.
SmackDown loses, maybe he just goes ahead and joins Raw.
Holes
maybe
and
he
souls.
just is on the roster.
What?
That's what it sounded like. It was kind of like, I'll be with you guys if y'all win. If you don't win, then I'm gonna go over here.
I've been in relationships like that. Those don't work out well.
not a very
Stay away
Undertaker-
from those.
Stop doing ultimatums, Scotty.
It's not a very Undertaker thing to do, you know?
I wasn't giving the ultimatums.
Oh,
Undertaker's
whoops.
not even on a show. Who's he to say?
He just said.
But Shane didn't go, oh, by the way, I signed him to a contract.
Right,
He
so-
just said, I'm back. Like, okay, sign something.
Maybe this is the version we already, last week we talked about, Stephanie McMahon. She gave an ultimatum to the Raw squad. Maybe this is the SmackDown version of the ultimatum to put pressure on the team.
Yeah, win and you'll get Undertaker.
Underground?
Oh, you'll get your undergrad.
If you win, you get Undertakered in a good way.
You'll clean your undercarriage.
Yeah, taking souls and digging holes.
All of those things.
Yeah, that's actually on his Tinder profile.
Oh boy.
Why?
Does Michelle
what
know about that?
What setting do you have it to there, Johnny?
I'm just guessing.
You only go out with
Just
dead men?
guessing. Yeah, just guessing. That would probably be on his Tinder profile. Just a guess. That's
Speaking of Tinder, he's coming back. He's going to be on Raw if SmackDown loses.
That's your bold
and bring the
that's-
fire.
And bring the fire.
That's where his brother is. He should be pissed that his brother's not on the team.
No, Kane is on SmackDown.
Yes.
Kane swipe
He's
right.
not on the team.
Oh, the team.
so he
Yes.
should be pissed.
Right.
Yeah, he's pissed that he's like, point of contention, my brother's in the back weeping, and he'd like to be on the team.
Doesn't like Bray Wyatt.
Shane, you're a dick.
Nobody likes a sad Undertaker.
Nobody likes a
Or
sad
a
Undertaker.
weeping Kane.
Yeah, demon or corporate.
So none of you believe this was just a one and done appearance.
He told us it wasn't.
Said it wasn't.
But it just seems, what's he gonna do? Show up every
Come
week?
back.
Not live.
Fight a bunch of competitors he's not yet fought.
I think he's going
Okay.
to wrestle.
Okay.
That's what he does.
Yeah, he's like Dean Ambrose, Laurels, you, me, now.
What if he makes Dean Ambrose great again?
Then he is the phenom.
Holy shit!
If somebody in the Hall of Fame can become president, anything can happen.
I will say this. I love what Ambrose did on Raw when he didn't say a word. He just attacked and started the whole big fight. I
He
dug
did
that.
say a word.
What did
he
he
did
say?
say a couple of words.
What are the
Like-
words?
Yeah,
well or something. It
yeah,
was like,
well, I've been thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Bam.
was just a couple of words.
Nonetheless, it was cool.
He's
It was
doing
cool.
Yeah, I like that as well.
But that ring, other than Shane McMahon, because we've seen that epic fight. Undertaker's got a slew of new opponents.
he
right
tipped
there.
his hat. I like that. That was so classy.
So our ultimate fantasy.
Not to
booking-
Bray Wyatt though. He's like, that match wasn't so great.
He's like, we could do better.
What's our ultimate fantasy booking in this scenario? If he comes
Oh.
back, what would you?
I mean, that's easy.
AJ Styles.
I gotta totally agree with Dale. The Phenom versus the Phenomenal one.
Wow.
That's just
the phenomenal.
yeah.
What about you, Johnny?
Phenomenon. I mean, it's hard to argue that, but Bray Wyatt, Undertaker again, and let's make it real this time because last time was kind of.
What a great tagline. Let's make it real.
That's
last
what
time was-
Goldberg Lesnar is. They're making it real this time.
Yeah, it was just-
AKA mega match.
It was just kind of thrown together, and just Wyatt didn't have a chance from the start. And I just feel I would like to see a different kind of Wyatt and Undertaker maybe go back at it. But I agree, AJ. I can't argue against.
I want to see him avenge his loss on Brock Lesnar.
Oh boy.
Maybe this is a swerve. And he does show up in that match and does a little something on Brock.
Speaking of which, Survivor Series, we have a number of matches to choose from this weekend, so let's just go around the round table here and say what we're most excited for. So, Carl, why don't you kick it off?
It's not a round table, Johnny.
It's a room that it's got a round sphere
just a
atmosphere to
rectangle.
it.
I ordered round table pizzas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those
Yep.
are fabulous.
Is that a thing?
It is a
You never
thing.
heard of round table pizza?
Oh boy.
Oh, Dale.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Is this a 5-on-5 situation?
Well, the match that I'm looking most forward to, speaking of round table pizza, it's The Miz versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship.
Shocker in a way.
That was crazy. Tonight on SmackDown, or as you guys are listening to this, probably yesterday on SmackDown, Miz took a surprising win over Dolph Ziggler.
Great match.
Great match. And we were all confused. We were all watching it. Like, well, why would they do this right before Survivor Series?
Especially at the top of the show.
Yeah, what's going to happen? There's no way he's going to... Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Had the Spirit Squad involved, had Maurice involved. It took a cavalry.
It was incredible. And if you think about how much weight this is going to pull when, say, Sami Zayn does win the Intercontinental Championship, is he going to take it back to Raw? Will he come to SmackDown? If he loses, will he get traded to SmackDown? Like, there's so many what ifs if he wins the championship. It's just going to be such a fun match to watch.
And Miz has been thriving on SmackDown, especially when he was
Always.
IC champ. So this is going to be really fun, Dale.
Hella fun.
Yeah, I'm with Carlin. I think this is my most anticipated because I like that the title, there's so many things that could happen.
Right.
There's so many moving pieces here. And I think that this is going to be a great moment for Sami Zayn, win or lose, really, because he'll have that hometown crowd and he's against an actual like strong heel. Whereas with Ziggler, it would have been a different type of match in the ring, but I think the crowd could have been more divided to have two faces in there. So I think this is awesome. And I love Miz. Only downside for me is I think Miz is ready to go back into the main title event. Otherwise, I love him as the champ.
So you'd rather see Miz in this situation than Ziggler?
I think so. But I'm also such a mark for Sami Zayn that I just want the best for him.
So you want Zayn to beat whoever?
Exactly, yeah. I think Miz provides that better reaction for Zayn.
Yeah, it'll be easier to cheer for him when Miz is such a bastard.
All right, so they both chose the same match, essentially, Scotty. What say you?
Well, I have to agree in saying a totally different match.
Like
All right.
what?
That's not agreeing.
What are you talking about? I'm in full agreement.
No, agreeing
that I'm
is-
choosing something else entirely. Goldberg Lesnar is going to be amazing, but I am most looking forward to the Survivor Series tag match because there are so many members of these tags that have not faced each other.
20 people.
So many new characters, so many things where this feels like this is really going to set new characters apart. Being the sole survivors of a team is really going to add story to it. It's going to make new contenders, might split teams up. I have no idea what's going to happen from this. Like, this is just completely open and anything can happen more so than the match I feel that you guys are talking about with the Intercontinental title.
While you're at it, I mean, we do have 5-on-5. Well, if you want to count New Day, 21 people involved. Do you have a prediction as far as Raw versus SmackDown? Is there one team that you think is going to come out looking like the best, maybe like the best direction going out of Survivor Series? We have some teams that are relatively new.
Yeah, I think the Usos are strong, and I think there's a certain team where, someone didn't win a political candidacy and someone still got kids to feed. So I think SmackDown's looking very strong.
And I also, to add to your SmackDown, I would also say American Alpha. This might be their coming out party to where people expected a lot when they first showed up. They haven't gotten a lot of shine. Maybe this is how they're triumphant. So in other words, apparently we don't think Raw tag teams are going to do anything.
Hey, what about the club?
What about them?
What about the club?
They mean business.
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
They're going to turn against their own team openly. They have said so against Enzo and Kaz, and that's why I love the club.
Shut up, nerd.
See, that's more like Biz Nasty.
Biz Nasty. They did kind of foreshadow that.
I mean, I think the women's match is very intriguing as well as the 5-on-5. But guys, we can't forget about NXT TakeOver because this is a lineup of 5 matches, and maybe they'll add one this week, but I really am excited for 2 matches in particular. The women's match, Asuka versus Mickie James. I've always been a huge fan of Mickie James, and it's really surprising to see her back. Is this a one-and-done deal? If that's the case, then obviously we know Asuka's going to probably dominate and win. Maybe this is Mickie coming back for a little bit, but I think it's such a contrast of styles. It's one generation versus another in a way. Mickie James was a Divas champ, was a women's champ. Asuka is undefeated. I really think that they can work well with each other and have great communication in the ring, but also Bobby Roode and Ty Dillinger. I just have a really distinct idea that what I would like to do for the beginning of this match. I want to see Ty Dillinger get introduced first. He's in the ring. Bobby Roode, he's pissed off right now. Bobby Roode has just undercut Ty Dillinger one time after another. So Bobby Roode comes out with his glorious introduction and his beautiful robe. I want to see Dillinger just run up the ramp and attack the hell out of Bobby Roode, not giving him a full intro, dragging him down to the ring with the robe still on, beating him up with the robe still on, getting the upper hand, finally taking the robe off and maybe just putting it on himself and then doing a glorious 10 with that robe on. Because we all know Roode's going to win, but this would make Ty Dillinger look like such a badass in a losing effort.
Yeah, and talk about hometown crowds. Both these guys are going to have that advantage, so that'll be interesting to see how the crowd reacts to that match.
Probably cheering them both.
Yeah, for me, for them, I think the 2 out of 3 falls for DIY versus the Revival. I think that's been a long time coming. So if I had to mix and match, I would also choose that as my most anticipated.
And at this point, what else can Joe and Nakamura do to each other?
Brutalize each other even more.
Heck yeah.
Do you guys see a title change, or is this maybe Joe's swan song in NXT?
Well, we said that before. We've said this is Joe's swan song. Maybe he'll get pulled up to the Raw roster, and it didn't happen. It's been a couple months. This is the match that I'm looking forward to, though.
Yeah.
And who knows if it's going to be a swan song, but
What would you prefer to see?
jeez.
You want to see Joe bouncing up to the main roster, one of the two shows?
I think he'd do well on the main roster.
Of course,
Heck
I think,
yeah.
I think he'd do really, really, really well on the Raw roster. SmackDown doesn't need him, honestly.
You don't think?
Y'all disagree?
I don't. Why are we always shoving people from NXT up to the main show so fast?
You gotta shove somebody somewhere.
Nah,
Whoa.
shove it to yourself.
Yeah.
That's
whatever
what I
that
say.
means.
I'm gonna drink my water.
You know, the Rumble, we're going to see somebody popping up in there. It's going to be Bobby Roode. There's no way you can avoid that. And then, post WrestleMania, why are we pushing so fast? Let us
'Cause it's
enjoy
fun.
it in NXT.
'Cause we love
fast.
Because
wrestling.
here's the reason why is, Samoa Joe already was champion, had a nice reign, and if he comes up short against Nakamura, what else is there for Joe to do in NXT?
What else is there for any wrestler to do if they come up short of a title reign and you just have to keep on trying?
Yeah, let him wear the Bobby Roode robe.
But, yeah, that'll work.
Glory Joe.
Sure.
You wouldn't.
Glory, Joe.
God,
Yeah.
Glory, Joe. That is fantastic.
you wouldn't like to see him on the Raw roster?
In time?
Not currently. Not soon.
No
It's not-
rush.
It's not like Joe just got to NXT, though.
I'm aware of all these factors, but I wouldn't want to rush all these guys. I think there are good stories to tell. I think there's still amazing things to be done where they're at, because once you get up to the main roster, you might be there and then nothing happens. Look at what happened with Sami Zayn. Some things happen here and there, and then there are moments where you go, nothing is going on. Joe may suffer from nothing going on because creative may not have anything for them
But
as it all goes.
He could be a good opponent for Sami Zayn. Say if he comes up
I
and
still
they
say, Dale's going to hate this, I still say Sami Zayn needs kind of an overhaul for them to care. Just saying. I'm saying for them to care, for WWE to care, I think something needs to change.
I care.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
agree.
the Johnny impression.
I was working on that.
We should really do that every single week. A few more questions that we have here. So we know what the Intercontinental title match is. We don't know where it's going to end up. And the Cruiserweight division, if Brian Kendrick loses to Kalisto, that means the Cruiserweights move to SmackDown. Of course, 205 Live, we already know, will be filming in the same arena as SmackDown and will be airing immediately afterwards on the network. So, number one, where do we think the IC title will end up? On Raw with Sami Zayn, or stay on SmackDown with The Miz, much to the kind of chagrin of Daniel Bryan because he hates The Miz but also wants to keep the title, and where the Cruiserweight's going to end up. So, Scotty?
I thought this was pretty clear before. I thought the Cruiserweights were still going to remain on Raw, and then they would have their own show on 205 Live. I thought they'd be pulling double duty, but now it seems like they're just tipping their hats like crazy with this. So I think it's pretty obvious that Kalisto is now on a tear, taking out Baron Corbin out of nowhere. Like, you couldn't be more obvious with
And
this.
Oni Lorcan?
Oni Lorcan.
Hey, that
Thank you.
3
I'm
times
sorry.
fast.
I can't say it once.
That's all right.
That's just
Think
tough.
of fans trying to put it on a sign. Good marketing. That it's too obvious. So I'm immediately bummed out because I think the Brian Kendrick has no chance. So let's all go on SmackDown.
Oh, man.
And what if you kept them on Raw? What sense would it make to have them record after SmackDown?
That's the thing.
Aren't their schedules all conflicting and they're in different places? They don't travel as much together as they used to,
It's
right?
a bummer they let this out already.
Pneumatic tubes. You put a cruiserweight in a pneumatic tube, shoots them right through across the country.
Yeah, we're almost at that technology.
Your
We're there.
brain
We're
amazes me.
We are past pneumatic tubes,
We're past
Johnny.
it. We're past it.
past
They use them at the bank.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a pneumatic tube!
That's a pneumatic tube.
Oh my god!
Human-sized pneumatic tubes?
That was my favorite part about doing errands with my mom. Going to the bank and having
She
them
puts you in a pneumatic tube. Go get my money.
having them suck on the check and
I just want a lollipop.
Did the Tommy Boy ever happen where he lost his shirt like Rob Lowe did?
There you go.
No, but
See, it's the 90s. There you go.
Speaking of pneumatic tubes, the IC title.
Yes.
If it were to
Cruiserweight.
the IC title.
Oh, the IC title. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
because he asked 3 questions in one over here. The IC title.
I just answered one.
If that were to end up on Raw, I mean, what's left for the Miz to do? I feel like the Miz he is the IC title
Yeah.
on SmackDown. That would take a lot a lot
Who thought we'd be saying that a
He
year ago?
needs
I
to
know.
move to the main title picture. He is an awesome villain. He's not necessarily the IC title. But it is weird that they let out of the bag that the Cruiserweights would be filming. They could obviously change it. Maybe that was also a ploy. I doubt it. But I think it's important to get whatever the answer is. They know that they have a problem with the Cruiserweights on Raw. And the answer, I think, is getting them in front of more live audiences and letting them have more time to develop character. So putting them with Raw or SmackDown or whoever to get them on the road more and stop treating it like a little small division of any show.
Let's just call this out. Do we feel like the SmackDown creative team is just better?
Well, hey, isn't it hard to change those ropes out all the time?
That's what I was going to say. Which one of you guys said that was part of the bummer about the Cruiserweight division is they treat it like such a separate entity that it doesn't actually feel like part of the show? I don't know.
It feels like the divas from the early aughts is what I was saying.
They come in and they put that one purple rope in, or I don't know.
All of them.
All of them are purple. It's just like, why waste all that time? Why make it feel so separate?
And for what they do with the matches, they're always a 3-on-3, and what the joy was about the Cruiserweight Classic is that we heard these guys' real backstories. We heard that they're actual people. They had a hard time coming up, just like most of us did. There was so much to them as real, actual people, and now on Raw, they get these little tiny segments if you're one of 3 guys, and those 3 guys, besides Kendrick, kind of just have to say catchphrases about whatever, dumb thing they decided for them to be about. And that's not what made these guys so interesting to watch.
No.
It was the fact that we could identify, and it's hard to identify when they get no time and they get no story.
Which is surprising to me because Raw is over 3 hours long.
Yeah, what the hell? How much time you need?
I don't know.
And if you don't have time, why the fuck did you make the division? Don't bring it back if you're not going to make it right. But I think my point is, I think they realize that, and 205 Live is the answer for part of that, and then having them tour more, maybe on SmackDown or whatever the case.
Is it the answer though?
They don't know the answer, so I think they're willing to try something.
Why couldn't they just interject them into regular programming as if they were anybody else?
They were trying?
No, because they made them a completely separate division to then say that this is their only division. They're going to fight each other for this one title. Why didn't they just say that there's a Cruiserweight title and then all of those guys qualify for it, sure, but then let them compete in other areas? Like, what are you going to do? James Ellsworth isn't just a Cruiserweight guy. Look at him. He was fighting for AJ Styles' title. Like, why would they have to pigeonhole these guys into this one small, I'm only eligible for this title type of thing? That's where
another
they screwed
whole
up.
question. Does Ellsworth become part of the Cruiserweight division?
Well,
we didn't think about that.
We didn't think about it, but that's where they screwed up because they pigeonholed them 100%.
True, they did.
And you have to be larger than life on these particular shows, and the CWC allowed them to be these real people, and it's hard to be a real person on such a big, over-the-top show.
My concern, if the Cruiserweights do move over to SmackDown, and like Scotty said, sure as hell looks like it's going to happen,
right?
Are we going to go back to the same thing with Raw where people are like, oh my God, why is this over 3 hours long? What are we going to fill the time with? Because that's what it's going to be, right?
Especially if you dedicate an entire hour to just one portion of something. That's a lot. That's if you imagine an entire hour dedicated to the WWE Championship,
and to me, it kind of
title, like that would be like that's what we're going after.
And also, really, and no disrespect to Kalisto, but it would really kind of just bother me if Kendrick just loses the title like that
immediately
to a guy
basically,
who essentially has been not really on television for quite some time, off and on, barely. All of a sudden, he's got this match.
We could be getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe they have a workaround that isn't the Brian Kendrick losing the title, and they still can swap. I mean, they make up these rules as they go along. I mean, I thought they were going to say on that State of the WWE Universe address that they were going to put more stakes into it. Like whoever won Survivor Series was going to get to pick some draft picks or some new guys from the other person's roster, but they didn't do any of that.
It was essentially a podcast.
It was just Mick Foley talking a lot. But so I don't know. I think they could come up with some other ways to make this happen and hopefully not have Kalisto go over because I don't really like that either.
Okay, well, when it comes down to, we talk about Survivor Series, a lot of times in the past it would have like a surprise or maybe someone turning on someone, but there's a lot of inner feuding going along in Raw and SmackDown and every single team. The women aren't getting along on both teams. The 5-on-5 both have a lot of conflict, especially on Raw. The tag teams, that one, you have Gallows and Anderson say they're going to stab everyone in the back.
Cass, they
It seems
not
like
get along.
Raw can't get along. It seems like SmackDown's getting along pretty good.
Good point. I mean, you had when King Booker shows up, you better get it together.
Yeah, and then even SmackDown talking as a unit, Randy Orton joined Bray, so they're getting along just fine.
Well, do you think this whole inner feuding we have going on between the teams, is that going to take away from the surprise and shock value of someone turning on someone per se?
I think it's going to take away from the surprise and shock value, but I just think it makes it a little bit less meaningful. Kind of, what I think it takes away is the team camaraderie. Like, I want to see Team Raw being so happy to be together, and like
Jericho
singing,
tried, Carl.
singing. He did try. He tried to give Braun a scarf. He tried to give Rollins a scarf. Yeah, he definitely tried to bring them together, and it didn't work. So
I don't like scarves.
he definitely didn't, and then he ripped that $750 scarf up. But I wish that they would frolic through the fields of daisies and be happy together, holding hands and singing songs. And they're not. They're a shit show. And I mean, at this point, it's not going to be a surprise. But I would just much rather see them get along, and then.
But I think that's why I'm more interested in Sami Zayn and maybe even Brock versus Goldberg, just because I think those twists or turns are probably coming inside of those.
Yeah.
The problem of these matches of today is that they're picking the best guys from the show, so they have to have, regardless, heel face. And when we were younger, it was always like the good guys versus the bad guys, so you could have that camaraderie right out the gate. But these guys are just trying to like keep their storylines to promote what's coming up in 2 weeks down the line for the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, Scott, I mean, you're definitely been a fan for longer than I think probably all of us have.
Well, I'm only 27.
That's true. But according to Dale, you look like you're 50. Do you remember? I remember as a kid in Survivor Series past, most of the teams did kind of get along with each other. Do you remember all this combativeness in the past between teams like it is this year?
I think there were times when there were, some heated tensions or someone wanted the glory over the other one. But I like the fact that there are dissension amongst the teams. I like the little bit of foreshadowing to go, is this going to come to fruition? Do we see Randy Orton? Is this where he breaks from Bray? Do they still go along? Like, while it's foreshadowing and it's obvious, sure, I'm still intrigued by it because I want to see if it goes through or not. Because not all of these will go through and happen. Enzo and Kaz and the club may be forced to actually work together for the greater good. Maybe on the night that Stephanie comes up to him and says, I know what you said. If you do that, one of you will be fired. So, there could be more stakes in place where they hate each other, but they have to fight for the greater good.
And Steph did say this.
You're going to fight like your jobs depend on it, because they do.
She sounds like she meant it.
Just not to the tag people.
Yeah.
Something that would really surprise me, but not or it's not surprise, but something that I would kind of expect, but I would still enjoy, would be if Roman and Rollins kind of got together.
You mean like they did on Raw?
Like they did on Raw, but like really solidified a togetherness and kind of took a little peek-see over at Dean Ambrose and maybe thought that they could be together again in a Shield reunion.
So you're saying during the match, the 5-on-5,
something could happen. What if the chair shot heard around the world is reversed? Dean Ambrose is the guy that turns on his team. You know what I mean? Like and helps out Team Raw in a way. I don't know.
That would certainly reinvigorate Dean Ambrose.
Well, think about it though. What if Ambrose is too crazy? He doesn't realize that Ellsworth steps in, new Shield.
Oh, geez, with Ellsworth.
Wow. Mascot becomes Shield member.
I feel like you just shit on my dreams.
And they just use him as a literal shield for the rest of the match.
Oh my God. Like a battering ram, an Ellsworth ram.
Oh, jeez.
He's there for everybody. Your idea is great too.
Absolutely. Since this is a Survivor Series week, we have to talk about one of our favorite survivors in life and on television in wrestling right now.
How in the hell would I talk to a boat?
That's right, the brilliance of broken Matt Hardy. Scotty, I'm so concerned because he has amnesia thanks to the DCC.
Oh, really? Because you weren't last week. You're all happy about it. You're like, oh, this is so great. He doesn't know what's going on. He is estranged from his wife that he got the name wrong.
You mean his wife, Debbie?
No. Rebby.
Oh, but his brother Hero, at least trying to help him out.
Nero.
Oh, see, I don't know.
This is terrible. Now you're concerned. Oh, now you're concerned. Because all social media is concerned, so now Johnny cares.
Of course. Who are you?
This is sad. This is a sad state of affair. Yes, I laugh uncontrollably because the man brings me joy, but I am saddened for him and the entire Hardy family.
This just, oh man, I just want this to never end. I want this story to never end.
How dare you?
Oh, it's just amazing.
And now not.
And now on top of that, we know who the DCC is.
Yes, we do. We know it's
revealed.
James Storm.
Yes.
We know it's Bram.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, they didn't even know who the third guy was.
Eddie Kingston.
I thought it was Eddie Kingston. Yes.
I had to look it up because I'm like, it's the snap. Like, you're familiar. I know
you. You had amnesia.
Yeah, I did.
That's right.
But they didn't even give him a name or go like, that looks like formerly Eddie Kingston. They go, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty strong trio there.
I'm glad Bram has something to do. That was what I thought when it got revealed. I'm like, sweet.
Now, Bram was, you mentioned when you interviewed him, he was very clean shaven at the time.
That's right, yeah.
So there you go.
And he was just super cool, and he's just been kind of sitting on the shelf ever since he was thrown in the trunk.
Right.
So it's nice to see him pop back up and actually get to do something.
Hopefully there was some breathing room in that trunk. I guess there was.
I mean, it looks like he's okay.
Yeah.
So I just got to ask, is this the most compelling thing we've seen on wrestling television this year? Because it's so different and it's so
bold.
out there. It is
Holy
bold.
smokes.
I'm just going to say it. It's the thing I've enjoyed most.
This is the most compelling thing out of all of wrestling that's happened the entire year of 2016.
Yes,
this
because
is the most compelling thing.
For me, yes, it's the most different, most daring, most risky. Not only character change, but also storyline where it's gone completely. It's like completely jumping the shark, and I thought it was so ballsy.
You know,
and
that's
it's
a bad
really
term, though.
paid dividends.
Yeah, jumping the shark is a bad thing.
I know it's usually a bad thing, but in this regard, I think it really paid off because I love it.
Miz exploding on Daniel Bryan was probably one of the most compelling things in wrestling.
I completely agree with you. It's right there.
It blurred the lines between reality and what we're watching, and have character. Like they broke character, whether they'll say it or not. Most of that was real.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's interesting because both those directions are so the opposite, right? Like the broken Hardy thing is such a, like, obviously we're playing and being silly, and the other side
at
of
2
it.
a.m. It's what you'd see on Sci-Fi.
Yeah. And the other side of it is trying to make it as real as possible.
Yeah.
And I think both have their merits, and I enjoy one over the other for sure, but I think it's interesting that they both did make a sharp turn to try and keep people engaged.
Yeah, it's broken Matt Hardy, the entire Hardy family, what TNA has allowed and embraced in the past. I loved Rockstar Spud and EC3 for that whole year when they did everything, when they were bad guys together to being opposing forces. That was the best thing ever all year. And again, with the Hardys, like, they get to do what they want to do, and there's probably some wrangling in between. And I love that. I love it when people get their ideas out there and they get to flourish. And that's why, to me, it's absolutely compelling.
I'll give you a round of applause for that. All right, let's all put ourselves over. We're at Fox Compadres on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/Fox Compadres. Scotty?
You can find me on social media at Curtain Jerks. You can listen to my comedy wrestling podcast, Curtain Jerks, available on iTunes and SoundCloud. And check out YouTube.com/OnYourMarkShow for the funniest free shoot interviews in all of wrestling.
Dale.
I am The Walking Dale on Instagram and Twitter. And you can also find me on YouTube.com/DishingOnMovies.
Dale.
I'm still Dale.
Carl.
Dale, I'm going to miss you so much.
I'll be back.
Please don't leave me.
It'll be next year, but I'll be back.
You can find me on social media at Carrlyn Bathe on pretty much everything.
That's right.
Just search it. There's only like 1 or 2 Carlyns.
We'll get rid of them soon enough. I mean, good luck to you all.
They will rest in peace.
One's a bootmaker from Texas.
Oh.
What? I'm going to follow that one.
That's a good trade to have.
I want some boots.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess we have a new favorite Carlyn.
Sorry about your luck. I'm at Jay Quasto. A huge blood drive coming up for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. If you know anyone in the SoCal area, please hit me up.
Anyone
We'd
with
love to
blood?
have you. Yeah, we need as much blood as possible.
I has it.
Let's do it for the kids. Otherwise, go to jlocomedy.com for all comedy dates and other good stuff. With that said, guys, enjoy Survivor Series. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening on Fox Sports. We love you so much. See you next week. Keep chasing your dreams.